So what we talk about here is quite simple in a way, because the natural reality is all there is, and it's just what seems to be happening. And the simplicity of it is that it already happens, so to speak. Us sitting together here in front of our screens is the natural and effortless reality. It's effortless. No one is doing this. No one can manipulate it. No one can prevent anything from happening, and it's totally effortless. The only illusion is that there is a separate self, that there is a separate self that is on a path towards something greater, personal fulfillment. This would be the idea of something greater. And this impression belongs to the seeker, to the seeking energy. It's the me which seeks. And the me is the energetic impression of separation. Automatically, by defining oneself as something energetically, it automatically defines itself as separate. The moment you are something, the moment we are something, we seem to be separate from everything else. So instantly, there is this impression, me and the world, me and my thoughts, me and my body, me and my feelings. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. However, together with this impression to be separate, there seems to be this sense of being kicked out of paradise, as if something very profound has been lost. An innocence, a peace, something which is actually very natural that suddenly one has become separate from. And that's where the seeking comes out of. Again, naturally. It's natural for the me to seek. It's just apparently uncomfortable. There's an uncomfortableness that goes together with this sense of I am. So naturally, seeking comes out of it. But as the person is experiencing only, the person is the experiencer, all it can seek for is another experience, personal fulfillment. And as this fulfillment isn't now here, it is assumed to be in the future. Hopefully it is in the future. It can only be in the future. In the past would be bad. And now it doesn't happen. So it has to be in the future. And that's where the assumption comes from, to be on a path towards this. And usually in the personal world, the only question is, how can I become fulfilled? And of course, this question takes on various forms. Who am I? What am I supposed to do? What will make me happy? What will give me fulfillment? What should I stop doing? And all those things. And usually in the world of the person, there are a lot of apparent answers to that. I think everyone knows here what they would actually need to do. Let go, accept everything, and a lot of other things. Make more money, be more disciplined, be more present, don't take things so personally, and all those things. I think everyone here knows those things. However, as this me is an illusion, it's completely impossible to first do those things. And secondly, they won't bring about what the person is longing for anyway. Because this whole idea of personal fulfillment happens within the dream only. It's only this illusion we dreams about becoming fulfilled, enlightened, liberated, becoming a know me, whatever the person thinks will give it fulfillment. What we talk about here is that this whole dynamic, this whole impression to be someone, and the impression to seek, to be on a path, gains and losses. I do something, I get something. I meditate, I earn a bit of peace. I do this and I get something in return. But this whole dynamic is illusory. As a description, one could say it's an artificial reality. This whole thing, with all those ingredients, they are all dreamt. That's why the person will never arrive. That's why, despite all the sincere trying, all the sincere seeking, fulfillment hasn't happened yet. It can't, because this whole reality is an illusion. And the good news here are that this kind of fulfillment, this personal fulfillment, isn't needed at all. What seems to be happening is naturally whole and complete in a very natural and ordinary way. It doesn't need any special experience. It doesn't need any one of us to be in a certain way or to not be in a certain way. That's the freedom that we talk about here. And it's simultaneously the love that we talk about here. This is the free perfection, which isn't going anywhere, which doesn't need anything. It's unconditional. So this is it. No one will arrive. No one needs to arrive. Liberation in that sense would just be the collapse of that impression to be someone, which doesn't happen to anyone. So, enough said. Anyone who wants to say something or ask something, you're very welcome to do so. Or you can write in the chat too, actually.
So there was no one.
Yeah, yes.
And it can be sadness. Or would you say sadness is from a person?
Oh, no, of course not. No, the body can feel sad.
Okay. Then there is nothing to search for.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing needs an answer. Sadness doesn't need an answer or a conclusion, for example. Nothing needs an answer or a conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the seeking. How can I transform sadness into a happy experience? As if the sadness would contradict fulfillment. And it doesn't, because it's all there is when there is sadness. For the person, everything that seems to be happening, or at least parts of it, always seem to contradict the possibility for me to feel fulfilled.
Mm.
And that's the only illusion, that something isn't what seems to be happening, and should be otherwise.
Okay.
Could be otherwise.
Yeah, but it can't be otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, while it happens, it just isn't otherwise.
yeah. And then yeah, there's a colleague of you who is also very yeah, I don't know how to say that, but
It's a nice way to put it, a colleague.
then he was saying when someone is sad, then he is doing a step back. But I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
You?
No,
Okay.
maybe it's not a colleague.
You know him very well, or whatever. Okay.
Hmm?
Okay.
Hmm.
Yep. Then it's all a joke. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the me is always taking a step back. Whoa, okay. Let's see how to deal with that. Oh, whoa, whoa. Now this is happening. So keep calm. What are we going to do now? So that's what the person might regard as an adult reaction to things. Let's distance ourselves a little bit more from it to keep it in control.
Hi, Andreas.
Hi.
When the me, because it's looking for fulfillment, it kind of seeks obviously in what's happening, and it's almost like it's always investigating to more or less degree. Some things are obviously more significant than others, and then and I don't know. It's like it just has an investment in what's happening as if it matters.
Yeah, exactly. Every moment, so to speak. I'm here. There is what I'm aware of, and this has to give me something. So it's, in that sense, it's investigating in every moment.
Yeah, and every new apparent event that arises or situation it finds itself in, what does this bring? Threat or promise? How do I orient myself towards this new situation? So
Yeah,
it's constantly, well, you've said it's constantly in activity, but it's always about, yeah, like looking at it and seeing what's the significance, what's the meaning, how do I orient myself in relation to this?
yeah. What does this moment offer me?
Yeah, but it's totally unnecessary, isn't it?
It's a complete illusion. Yeah.
Nothing's going to come out of anything, including this meeting.
Yeah, it's the same thing. There's nothing that will come out of this too. Yeah.
Lovely as it is.
Oh, yeah. But things being lovely still don't give anything to anyone.
Yeah, and the other way
That's
around,
just
things
what they are apparently are. Lovely.
and also the other way around, things don't need to give something in order to be lovely.
Exactly. Yes, the person would always connect it. Oh, this is nice. This will give me something. No, it doesn't. It's just nice for no reason,
Yeah.
not in order to give something to anyone.
Yeah.
Things can just be apparently nice.
Thanks.
Thank you. In that sense, there's just nothing that's personal, meaning that nothing is an experience, really. Everything is already the incomprehensible. But that doesn't mean that it needs to change. There was just never anything on offer in this whole appearance of life. It already all the time was and is what seems to be happening.
I'm just thinking one of the most common things to me, like common amongst all the me's, is this sense of needing to please people. I mean, I'm sure there's people who have it more and less than others, but it's just really no one to please.
Yeah, neither oneself nor others.
There's not even a self here, right? Okay, I
Yeah,
think
most people try to please themselves at least.
Yeah,
and maybe by pleasing others, but there is someone.
Andreas, what's apparently happening is beyond comprehension. So at no point can I say, well, that's just what apparently is happening. There's no way to know what's okay.
Yes, it's not a method. It's not something that can be known. And the knowledge of that's what seems to be happening is not in that sense what seems to be happening.
Right. All we can, all the eye can do is describe and narrate, but it's not that.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, I would love everyone to forget this sentence. Life doesn't exist. Oh yeah, what a boring concept to walk around with. That's just what seems to be happening. That's my answer to life. Oh.
Well, I tried it for a while, didn't work.
Yeah, I know. Most people try. I think I tried it as well, but
what's apparently happening? Let me see. And all I can do is describe, give descriptions, or narrate. It's never, it's
exactly. Again, the person would refer to its experience and then telling itself that's just what seems to be happening, of what it already is aware of from this separate position. That's how the person will understand this sentence. And as a conclusion, it tells itself that's what seems to be happening in order to calm itself down or to be fine and happy. But that's just going on, living the boring life of the seeker.
yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh my God, the time.
It's really fake and artificial calming oneself down. I mean,
well, it might work for 5 minutes while you're sitting on the cushion meditating.
well, it depends on what you regard as working. I know
well,
the person is looking for is calming itself down, and in that sense, it's working. But this working has nothing to do with this wild freedom that we talk about.
Yes, wild freedom. Yes. But there were times, and I'm sure you yourself had when you were meditating, you thought you had discovered some beyond words nirvana, but it was just another description or feeling or experience. It wasn't real. It wasn't real.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I wouldn't have called the words you said it, but presence, discovered something very precious, a precious way to experience oneself as life, present, peaceful, stable, It wasn't as stable as I thought, but in those moments it felt like that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know
Wow.
how many thousand times I thought that I found the answer to life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. And not
And
only
now that I think I found
not
it,
only conceptually, in a way to be, in a way to experience the world. I thought, oh wow, that's it. This feeling, to experience myself in this way, this must be the answer. And of course, instantly, how can I stay there, or how can I keep that up? But
oh no, I went straight to teaching it. Oh, how can I teach this? Oh man. But let's face it, there's a whole cottage industry in that very idea, meditating, transfer, all of that. And I spent years doing that as well. Uh, as a scientific project, I wasn't seeking. That's what I told myself. But
Mhm.
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. The seeking no longer, it's either there or not, but that will never be recognized by me. That'll never be recognized. It can't be.
Yeah,
Who would recognize it? Sorry, didn't mean to raise the voice. Too
exactly.
many
Yeah,
great.
and what? What would there be to reckon? I mean, this whole idea that there is a truth to be recognized is already part of the dream.
Couldn't you have told me this earlier?
Well,
I mean, yeah, but damn, it.
yeah,
There's something though that still feels. If I can just get this final piece to fall in place.
yeah,
And there's no need for me to say, oh, well, that'll never happen and that's not good, because that's exactly what's going to happen if that happens. So
yeah,
what can you do? I mean,
yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe there is no final piece.
I don't, yeah, well, who could care? I mean, who would know?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, I've missed you, Andreas. Missed you.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Which could become another mantra that the person punishes itself with. I know there is no final piece. As if any of this here could be known by anyone.
So the being drawn to your talking, there's no way to know what responds to that either.
What in terms of what do you mean?
The experience I had when I first heard you talking was, oh man, earth shattering, absolutely earth shattering, right? But there's no way of even knowing what thought or felt that either.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, it just was what seemed to have happened, without any truth or conclusion. Absolutely. Yeah.
And has thus remained. I no longer say, oh, I know that. Or I don't say, I don't know that either. I don't, neither position, neither.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's actually, well, close or whatever. That's why it's actually better to say there is no one.
Noneness.
Yeah, exactly. Neither knowing nor unknowing.
Yeah. And that cannot be processed by the intellect. I mean, that I know of. I mean, I don't think so, but
I know
if someone has done,
it cannot be processed by the intellect, because the intellect is another appearance. It's not real. It's not
Yes.
outside being able to process.
I knew you would get it. You've done well. Thanks, Andreas.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, a question in the chat. So there is no answer to life. All the methods are in vain, or is it an apparent kind of improvement? Well, yes, there is no answer to life. That's the thing. Life, or the appearance, the apparent appearance, is everything. So it doesn't have a conclusion. There isn't what happens and me getting a conclusion. This doesn't have a message. This doesn't teach us anything. This has nothing to say. It just is itself. Everything just is itself. In that sense, all the methods are, well, in vain in German. Well, they are futile, let's put it like this. No method has the capacity to bring about personal fulfillment, because the idea of practicing, the idea of me trying to be in a certain state, me trying to approach life in a certain way of being, is just only part of this illusory world of the person. And in that sense, there is also no improvement. Of course, within the appearance, all kinds of things may improve. You can calm your thoughts maybe for a while. You can learn to play chess or the violin or another language or something. There's just this one improvement that the person is actually looking for. Me becoming more fulfilled, me approaching my future fulfillment, me improving towards that. This simply doesn't happen. Because the seeker that you are now, apparently, if there is a seeker, is the exact same seeker that has been there 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It's the same dynamic. No matter how many improvements there have been in your apparent life. So this one improvement doesn't happen.
Yes, exactly. And Andreas, now, when I'm talking to you, you hear no one while I'm hearing Andreas, you know?
Yes.
So and also what William just said about pleasing people, you may, see there is no one there. So you feel there is no need to please anyone. But people, they may take it personal, you know?
Yeah. They will.
So
the me
they
will
will.
take it personal. It's inevitable.
Yes, and you can feel that, and you can feel that if that person, getting angry about you or something, especially in a work environment or something, but you don't mean to be that way, So how we can how can we deal with that?
I have no idea. I think I just have this, well, partly it's luck, partly it's a curse. I think I'm just lucky to have a very polite personality, so not many people need to get angry with me.
To tell you the truth, I'm not very kind. I also get angry, when I find myself in situations that is not that pleasing. So I maybe so this is the answer. Maybe I have to be to become more kind or something.
Yeah,
But it also
exactly.
work.
Yeah, exactly. How can I become more kind?
Yes.
There is no answer to this question.
Also.
Yeah, also. I mean, this question is what seems to be happening, and there comes an energy with it. There's just
Yes.
there's just no one who can act on that.
Yes. Yes.
And
Okay, thank
in the end, all you would want is to make yourself happy, to please yourself with that. So
yes, 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 yes. It's about me. It's really not about just to satisfy yourself, you do all of it.
exactly.
It's really that, yes.
Yeah, and maybe apparently you could even learn to become more kind, however this should
Yes,
work, I have no idea. But it wouldn't bring about what you are actually looking for. It would just be
exactly.
connected with constantly keeping up an artificial state of calmness and kindness.
Yes. And it will not last for long. It's a mask, you know.
Exactly.
The longer I'm here as a person, it will be just the person acting. You know,
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
the moment that illusion is not there. That may be an apparent change, but it's not that important. Will
Yes,
be there.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think a lot of, and you said it totally right. I mean, all those methods, they only bring about a momentary result. But my impression is that in the story, some people can get used to their method. And maybe this feels like an improvement. It doesn't feel like, oh, wow, it's working, or oh, great, I was kind in this moment. It just becomes like almost like a natural experience. And I think that's what the person would regard as improvement. Oh, it's way more easy to stay calm. I do need way less effort, but actually it's still just the same efforting. And
Yes.
and these are still the same transient experiences.
Exactly. You just get used to it.
Exactly, one gets
Yeah.
used to it. And I had a lot of that. And I was so surprised how all my improvements, my psychological and spiritual improvements, which I thought I had over 10 years of sincere seeking and insights and all that stuff, how they all just vanished almost in one go when the me collapsed.
Yes.
all
To
this
tell
all
you,
this artificial peace and
yeah,
kindness that I was working on was just gone.
yes. To tell you the truth, no method helps me. But when I attend this meeting, some things, moves inside of me, and I automatically don't take the word seriously anymore after I attend this meeting. But it also does not last for long. But the methods, they are, absolutely useless for me. I
Yes.
think this it's more helpful than any method. But to tell you the truth, it also will not last for long. Maybe 2 hours after this meeting, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm back again.
Yeah, that's all right. But it's very openly said here that this is not a method.
Exactly.
So yes, we're to be in touch with this energy or with this message can bring about a release for a while from the seeking and from the personal energy. However, it's not a path. It's not
Yeah.
trying to teach you to become that. But I totally understand. It is like that. It seems to have an impact or an effect for a while, and then the seeker comes back or yeah.
Yes. And you cannot have it, and it gives you no answer.
No,
This is the crazy thing about it. You just want it to be there, but you can't.
yes, yes, yes.
All of us want it. Why we attend here? All of us want it, but it doesn't come that way. It either comes or not.
Yes, so this longing just drops. It's not even that something comes, but it's this very dynamic that turns out
Yes.
to be illusory, waiting for something to come,
Yes.
and
Yes.
nothing will come.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
It'll just be life without this dynamic. Nothing else will change, so to speak. And of course, out of this collapse, things might also change. But basically, what we talk about here is just ordinary life without the seeking dynamic.
Beautiful. This is very beautiful, Andreas. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes,
Thank you.
it's way more simple than the assumption that some great wholeness has to be revealed, or some great, glorious, golden, shiny light would need to appear or something. Oh no.
Thank you, Andreas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Andreas, like, to me, any loss is threatening.
Depends. Loss of problems isn't threatening, but
I think it can be for the me.
well, only if it's all of them.
No, but if the me's path is solving a certain problem and then that turns out it's not a problem, the me wants it back.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I'm saying that is because basically yesterday I spent a lot of the day trying to hate myself, trying to feel like, yeah, I was telling myself I do hate myself. I do hate myself. I was trying to feel it in the body like a spiritual practice. And then I was really telling myself like I'm wrong and I'm guilty and I'm bad and all of this stuff and trying to feel it. And then after a few hours, I realized I'm trying to make it real again.
Yeah.
Because for so many years, all that stuff was real to me.
Yeah.
And now it's not real anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
Safe ground.
I know, and I can't make any of that stuff real. And I'd like, well, I don't actually know if I want it to, but yeah, well, you said safe ground.
That was the promise in that. Yes, please.
Hi, Andreas.
Hi, hello.
Hi. So that conversation you were having before with Joseph, isn't so you're saying nothing is needed.
Yeah.
Nothing's needed.
Yeah. But there might be a misunderstanding. I don't know with you, but there often is a misunderstanding. I don't say that nothing is needed in order to feel fulfilled. I think that's what's often heard. I say that nothing is needed, not even to feel fulfilled. So I heard this often in spiritual teachings that, yeah, exactly. Nothing is needed to feel fulfilled. You don't need to see. You can just be and enjoy life or be grateful or just that. But that doesn't work. There's just nothing needed.
And somehow, though, here feels like that being, say, perhaps, and no one's being this, but perhaps just in the story to make it easier to speak, that there is benevolence.
Yes.
And then here is not benevolence. And that, I mean, in the world, it feels like that would be a preference, to be benevolent, to be kind, to be all of that. And then somehow it's, yeah, sort of saying that No, you don't think so.
No, I know it's easy to say those things, but actually one already has to create a narrative in which it makes sense. I know we would easily agree on that. Yeah, okay, there would be a preference for this and that, but
Yeah.
not really, actually. It's already inventing a narrative. It completely doesn't matter. There is no preference, really.
Crazy. It's unbelievable. Like this body just almost like so shaky with that. It's so uncomfortable with that freedom. It's ridiculous. It's like,
Mm. Yeah.
wow. Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you.
Andreas, a while back, I spoke with you about there, there no longer seems to be a filter. And I've spent my whole life basically being kind, compassionate, therapeutic, helping that whole model. And I said, I'm not a nice, I'm not a nice guy. I don't want to be this guy, right? I forget what you said because I was more concerned with the problem. Well, update, I'm being thrown out of the house. Which I pretty much saw coming because I just can't play. I can't engage in the social niceties. I mean, it's not like it just doesn't ring true. And so, well, anyway,
Well, maybe
boy,
there might be a movement back to a more natural and functional niceness. But
the closing date for my new place is June the 5th. So if I can just make it till then, I'll be fine. I just thought that was funny because you had said basically, well, maybe you've always been that person, but I wanted to be this good guy, so you pretty much became the good guy. But underneath all of that, there was that anger and rage or whatever. But yeah, I'll keep you posted.
yeah, thank you. I mean, my story, it was a bit funny. I also was a bit fed up with trying to please others and stuff. And then when this illusion dropped, it turned out that many of those things I wasn't doing. So apparently there's just a polite character going on. So whenever I tried to be rude, and it also didn't really work. But I'm also not really a nice person. It's just an appearance. No one is a person anyway. So there's just what seems to be happening. No one is kind, really, or unkind. It's just an empty appearance.
Yeah, but it's a hell of a show.
Well, what do you mean?
What apparently seems to be happening, the wild freedom you talked about, well, it can be quite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andreas, I just kind of realised, like when I first came to these talks, it was obviously to find a relief from being a person and all of that. But would you say
that's what the seeker is looking for? Just relief, boring relief.
Boring relief? Did you say?
Well, it's the person doesn't think that it's boring, but it's actually quite boring. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, you were seeking for relief.
But what I was going to ask you is the relief that goes on here is not the same relief that the person's looking for, is it?
Oh, not at all. There's no connection.
The relief that goes on here is the diminishing of the person.
It's not for the person. It's from the person.
Yeah,
And it's very different.
yeah, completely.
There's really no connection. And what the person is looking for, is this, now I can be, God, thank God. Really, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's not wrong, but there's also no value in that. And that's just how narrow-minded or narrow-focused the person is, because that's in the end, all that it's focused on. And for the person, was this meeting a successful meeting when it feels like that afterwards? And the meditation was successful when it feels like that afterwards. And the conversation was successful when it feels like that afterwards. And reading a book was successful when it feels like that afterwards. But in the end, it's always about the same experience. There's nothing new or special about it. And even that it's not new and special is for the person to prove, again, that it works. Oh, great, I can feel like that again. Oh, great, I can feel like that again. But it's really nothing. It's absolutely not what life is about. I mean, life isn't about anything, but this includes that life is not about that too. And it's the only concern of the seeker. And that's, okay, why not? But come on.
Life is not about anything.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And Andreas, and it's also the expectation of a person here. I mean, I can speak about me, that okay, and when I will become nothing, then it will be everything okay.
Then it will be like that forever.
If this illusion drops, then
Exactly.
it will be okay.
Then there will be exactly this experience, but forever then. Yeah. That's the person's idea of when there is no me, when I'm enlightened, when I'm fulfilled, when I'm realized. It's always this same experience that the person is actually looking for. No,
Yes.
just that unstable. Yeah. It's so, in that sense, I mean, that's in the story, but it's so simple. There is nothing special or hidden about the personal energy. It's just the same dynamic over and over and over again.
But this extremely contracted energy that seems to be the problem, right?
Oh yeah,
And
that's the thing. I don't say that it's wrong.
no. I'm
Whenever
not saying
there is this energy, naturally there will be the attempt to get rid of it or to get away from it. They just go together. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
I agree, Sensei, but I was going to ask, but when the apparent me isn't there, does that not there-ness be felt in the body? Can that be felt? Like right now,
No.
there's really, really strong contraction. But if the contraction is not there,
Yeah, the problem is there is no one left to compare it, really.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's the thing where we can't go with words. That in a way it's the natural reality then. They are not being anyone, but it's not a state that can be compared with the past.
But for some reason, there seems to be and I don't have a word for it.
Maybe, but I should take it back the moment I say it. Maybe there's just this ingrained energetic memory of the subtle stress that has been there.
You're a fucking genius. Thanks, Andreas.
Thank you.
But
Good to hear.
Andreas,
Yes.
in terms of energy, you know, it's one energy, but it's different. For example, now I'm receiving from you, as you said, I feel like you are kind. And in everyday life, I go out, I can meet somebody and I feel he's kind. But sometimes you meet someone that you feel it's, you know, the energy that's coming from him, it's heavy or maybe
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
stressful or, you know. So it's not one energy, it's, you know,
Oh, but that's just what seems to be happening.
and it has no importance.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just purely itself. But yeah,
But
some people feel happy, some feel light.
yeah, but it does
I feel
affect,
happy
you know.
sometimes. And not just after a meal.
But you know, I'm sure that your heaviness is not as the heaviness that I have in mind. You know, you meet someone and it's really, really, really very heavy energy.
Yeah.
It's not about meal. He's full of himself, taking himself so seriously, and you cannot stand it. You know, it's
Yes. Yeah. There might be a natural movement to walk away from this person.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for no reason, not because they are wrong or not because
Do you
someone having anything against it. It would just be what seems to be happening as well.
Do you, Andreas, do you still feel the same when someone come to talk to you, or do you feel that this different kind of energies from people, or you don't?
Well, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
That's just functioning. It doesn't need me to do that. But of course, everyone has, in a way, their own energy.
Yes,
Just
it's like signature.
it's just not personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, there's a question in the chat. That's a difficult one. Andreas, does the dying of the me feel like a melting into everything? Well, that's I said difficult because it doesn't feel like melting into everything. It is the melting into everything. So this very moment of melting isn't felt anymore. The moment there is a feeling of movement towards something, and of course, melting into something could still be a feeling of a movement, an experience of a movement towards something that would still kind of be within the personal dream. But yes, it's kind of a melting into everything. The illusion of separation collapses or dissolves into nothingness. Yeah. It is that. It's like what we talk about here is like falling asleep. I think that's a good image. Well, can't be compared. Liberation can't be compared to anything. But there is the time when you're still awake, and there is the actual falling asleep, which doesn't feel like anything. It's the end of experiencing. It's the end of a feeling.
Then there was no consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Self-consciousness, self-awareness is illusory.
And a contraction
So
is
you-
also an illusion.
And what?
The contraction is also an illusion.
Well, I think a lot of the contraction comes from the impression to be someone.
Yeah.
A tenseness.
Yeah.
But my impression is that's already a symptom of this illusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the falling asleep, you never wake up again.
That would be liberation or death. Yeah, it's the same thing.
But there'd be no one to know you never woke up again.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yes. Yeah. And I think this is one of the big disadvantages of having those meetings, that it might seem as if I know that, as if there was falling asleep here and suddenly there was someone knowing that and now reporting it to the world. Oh no, there will just no one be there anymore. And that's the case here, and this will be the case for anyone. And of course, there might be a rather fact-based information. Oh yeah, there is no one, or the illusion has dropped. But it's never coming from someone waking up, looking back, and again being happy in terms of, the illusion dropped, great, I made it. Oh no, it'll just fade out, and nothing will be known. And no one will have arrived. No one will have arrived in not being someone or something. There'll never be a point of realization, knowledge, having arrived, becoming for anyone here. And this includes me. And I know for the person that's a very scary idea, because this moment is all it was looking for all its life. To look back and know I've done it. I've arrived. Now I know. Doesn't matter what I know. Some people think the idea of I am will bring me fulfillment. Some people think the idea of I'm not will bring me fulfillment. But this moment of awareness, this moment of becoming aware of the truth will not happen. And liberation has nothing to do with that. It is so natural and ordinary and without hierarchy, without anyone having anything or not having anything. It's, in that sense, really impersonal for anyone.
Hi, Andreas. I know it's the time, but can I say something quickly?
Quickly.
I've just still can't well, it's not about me letting go of anything and the me won't let go of it, but I'm so attached to this idea of needing to be special. And I feel threatened because I'm not more special than anyone else.
Yeah.
I hope they didn't hear that. Anyway, that's all.
Thank you. All right. So all there is what seems to be happening. Yeah, everything is equally whole and complete, yet for no one. So no one knows that this is whole and complete. This whole idea of being complete or incomplete is just part of a dream. It just doesn't know itself. What happens is itself, but it doesn't know itself, and it doesn't need to know itself. It is itself anyway. It doesn't care about anything. It's just what it is. Thanks a lot for joining. I wish you a lovely day. Nice to see you. Bye. Have a good time. Thank you.
Thanks, Andreas.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.